Hi, I'm Dave Barnes.
And I'm John McLaughlin.
And welcome to Dadville.
Dadville is a podcast where we talk about life, love, and the pursuit of awesome dadding.
It's funny thoughts and deep talks.
So please, enjoy your time here in Dadville and enjoy this episode with
Lee Dixon.
John, hey, I don't mean to wake you up, but
no, it's okay.
Is she a hot sleeper?
I mean, look at her. Look, she's just hot no matter what she's doing.
No. Oh, I mean, when she's trying to sleep, does her sleep get disrupted because she feels too? Oh, she got up. She's leaving.
Sorry, babe.
That's all right.
All right, Dave. Listen, let me say.
Yeah.
As I live and breathe, yes, she does, 100%.
Yeah.
I'm not sure exactly what to do.
Okay.
It's been a problem for a while.
Yeah.
I guess I've just accepted the reality that she's never going to have a good night's sleep for the rest of her life.
John, wait.
Yeah.
I have a solution. Cooler comfort lies before you with Boll & Branch's percale sheets. They are cool, crisp, and breathable, just like you, John. So you and Amy will never sleep hot again.
Oh, Dave, I believe you.
Wow. Okay.
But I'd feel better if they were made, without any toxins and with the finest 100% organic cotton. Can you give me that?
Just look, here's a 4-leaf clover because you are in luck. Not only that, but they also come with a 30-night worry-free guarantee and a promise that B&B sheets, Boll & Branch, are ethically crafted by expert artisans who make fair wages.
Okay, it's a go.
Yeah.
Okay, feel the difference an extraordinary night's sleep can make with Boll & Branch. Get 15% off plus free shipping on your first set of sheets at bollandbranch.com/dadville.
That's Boll & Branch, BOLLAND, branch.com/dadville to save 15% and unlock free shipping. Exclusions apply.
Look at this guy. Lee, I didn't even know you were going to come on today. I just was wearing this anyway. Yeah, I just was wearing this for fun. None of this was because you were going to be here.
For the listener, Dave has an Arsenal hat on, an Arsenal jersey, Arsenal scarf. And I don't know what else. I can only see your waist.
Slightly underdressed.
Can I just say, I feel like I'm being offensive with my outfit right now.
Yeah. I
feel like
John,
I should apologize.
Time.
This is like
Heaven on earth. What is that?
It's actually an Arsenal shirt because
Yeah.
Arsenal is heaven on earth. That's what it is.
That's right.
That's making me too hot.
Dave.
Lee, I can't tell you how excited that we are to have you on this podcast.
Well, I hope I don't disappoint you.
If you just sat there and smiled, you would have delivered. It would have been 100 out of 100 experience. So something I want to say just to kick this whole thing off. When John and I started this podcast 5 years ago, John, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. One of my goals, like literally one of my goals with this podcast was, and John didn't even know it at the time, was to get Arsenal person and or people on this podcast. And it's been a slow and steady climb. I've leveraged, I've manipulated, I've broken hearts, I've created careers. Burned bridges. And this is the moment. It's happened. It's happening.
Am I the first one?
You're the very first one, but the first of many.
It took you 5 years to get me on.
Okay, it's getting judgy, which I don't love. But it is.
We didn't want to be unprepared. We wanted 5 years of podcasting under our belt.
5 years of prep work.
Here's the thing: if you'd have got me on in year one, by now you would have had Thierry Henry, Dennis Bergkamp.
Listen, you guys. I get giddy, and I'm trying to come back down, Lee. I'm trying to come back down. Let me
it can't be overstated.
Normal.
Dave's Arsenal fandom.
It's out of control. So let me before we get into your brag sheet, because we always start with what you've done. What game are you doing tomorrow?
I've got it's very difficult for me to say their name, but I've got West Ham v the other mob.
Oh, the other guys.
We can bleep their name out if you prefer.
Do you know what? Here's the thing about Tottenham is that if ever I write their name down, which I do quite a lot when I'm doing notes or whatever, if ever I write their name down or I say their name, I always say Tottenham. I never give them the credit of a nickname like Spurs. I never call them Spurs.
I love that.
I literally it won't come out my mouth. I've been so indoctrinated into speaking bad about them.
Yeah.
I have to call them, and the fact that Tottenham Hotspur are now demanding that they're called Tottenham Hotspur.
Is that right?
You listen to my commentary tomorrow, At no point will I say Hotspur. I just call them Tottenham.
They should be grateful that they're even getting that.
Oh, that is just gold.
My NBC bosses have told me several times you've kind of got to toe the party line because they have requested, and I kind of go, okay, no problem. You watch.
You watch. That is absolutely just remarkable. Yes, that is remarkable. So, okay, everybody, you hear how giddy I am. You hear John honoring my giddiness, and we have Lee here. This is so fun to read this through because it's just such a substantial football career, as we say in soccer here in the States. But obviously an Arsenal legend. But here's some of the honors. So, league titles, you had 88 to 89, 90 to 91. Football League, First Division Premier League after it got rebranded. 97, 98, 2001, 2002. Cups, FA Cup, 3 different times. League Cup, European Winners' Cup, Charity Shield, doubles, which were incredible achievements. League and FA Cup doubles in 97, 98, and 2001 and 2. Amazing. And then the milestones. One of Arsenal's all-time great defenders. PFA Team of the Year, 3 different years. Stoke City Player of the Year, which is incredible. I can't wait to hear about that. Arsenal appearances 616, which is incredible. No.
Obviously, you've got your stats wrong. I have to correct you because it's
Please stop.
619.
Oh, okay. Okay, they didn't count your substitutions, I guess. And then
you should have waited till year 6, Dave.
I know, dadgummit. This is what I said.
5 years isn't enough.
Unbelievable. And then league titles, 3 different decades, which is incredible. 91 of 92 football league grounds played on, which is incredible to think about. International career, senior team, 22 caps, 1 goal. Media career now, which is so funny. We were just talking about doing NBC Sports 2013 to present. Yeah. Analyst, co-lead commentary, contributor to Premier League Download, pundit on BBC, also ITV Sport and other media. He's done columns and co-commentating FIFA, which is so fun. What a fun thing you did. So we always kind of start here, Lee. Like when you were growing up in England, is this like, if I read that, I love asking this question, especially to athletes, like if I had grabbed like 15, 16-year-old Lee Dixon and I had like time machined from now to then, and I go, hey, all I'm telling you is this, and then I time machine back. This is what you're going to achieve in your career. Would you have been like, yeah, that's what I'm going for? Or because you were playing an academy at that time, right? So you were already on that trajectory, right?
Well, yeah, I was a bit of a late developer based on, I was very small when I was sort of 13, 14, 15. I was quite small. I played up. Back then, I know you're not going to believe this, but I was a striker. I played up.
I was going to ask you about this.
And I used to score, for my Sunday team, I used to score 5 goals every weekend. I was I was like Ian Wright in his heyday. I just could not stop scoring. And then I kind of missed the academy the first 2 years, which is 16 to 18, when you leave school and you go into a pro club as an apprentice, as they called them then. And you do 2 years polishing people's boots, doing all the jobs in the stadium.
Wow.
Basically getting pushed around by the senior pros, go and get my kit, go and get this, go and get that. But you train every day and you get to get a feeling of what it's like to be a pro footballer, even though you're paid £15 a week and you live in digs. I missed that because I wasn't quite good enough. So I went to college and I trained part-time, and then I got a job with my dad till I was 18.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, and then when I was 18, I was at Burnley. They turned around and said, we'll give you a pro contract for 1 year. So when I was 18, I turned pro, and I'll never forget the day I turned pro because I came back home, signed my contract, and I was walking back from the train station, and I must have met about 6 or 7 people. I didn't know any of them. And I walked past and I was kind of going, trying to make a conversation. So, hi. And I was basically saying, I was just turned 18. I was going, what do you do for a living? Hoping they'd have a conversation and go, oh yeah, I'm a plumber, or I'm a this, I'm a that. And I think out of the 6 people, 1 person said, I'm a lawyer. And I go, oh, right. Wait for the question back.
Now's your turn.
So Go ahead. I'm a pro footballer. He goes, oh, so what do you do, young man? And I went, I've just signed pro football. And then I didn't even finish the comment. That was the moment when I went, if I pass away right now, then I'll have had one day as being, living my dream. And that's what I wanted to do. So, it was a hard getting in. Wow. And then after 1 year at Burnley, I got given a free transfer. I got released because I wasn't good enough. So I made my debut. And then a new manager came. We got relegated down to the next division. And I know you struggle with relegation, you guys.
Oh, yeah.
But,
We're like, what does that mean?
One day.
Yeah.
And then, so I got released. And I got released and I had to find a new club. And another manager came and said, right, we want you to come and play for us. So I was like, and it was Chester City. And you'll go, who?
Yeah, I don't know them.
And I go, Chester City, and I knew they were like lower division, but I didn't know. And I got the league table, the paper. I said to my dad, Chester have come in for me. So which league are they in? So I was like, and I was kind of went like that. And there's 92 clubs.
Yeah, you just keep going down.
They were 92nd. And it was like, right. And the manager at the time, it was halfway through the season, he said, don't worry about my position. I'm going to sign a load of players in the summer. You're the start of it. We're going to go and we're going to get promoted next year. So trust me, just get rid of this season. We'll finish bottom. And then there was no relegation then because we were bottom. You couldn't go any further down.
Yeah.
That's a perk. That's a perk. Yeah. You don't have to worry about that.
Absolutely. So
you're the only team not worried about relegation.
We finished the season, and he signed all these players, and we go, right, this is the magic. We're going to get promoted, and it didn't really pan out. So because we finished 91st, which was we went up one place in the whole season. So that was the start of my journey to get into the.
That is incredible, and then to hear those awards. I mean, that journey is crazy. Like, when do you feel like?
I don't think there's many players, and I haven't looked this one up, but somebody mentioned it to me, and I went, I don't know, that have finished 92nd and also first. So I don't know whether I might be the only one.
So here's something that I think is so funny. Like, I have a few friends that played in the States here, and they played college, and they make the joke, and you said this earlier, that like whenever they're playing, because here you play in your high school, clubs are starting to happen, and now we're seeing some academies really starting to happen with like the MLS teams, and then Barca has a place here and all that kind of stuff. But mostly it's high schools, and so they're playing for the local high school, and they are like all region, all district, all state striker. Right. And then, like a D1 school comes in and goes like, hey, we want to have you play here. And they go, Dave, you just move all the way to the back of the field because you were star striker in your state and then you're central defender. Yeah. Because they say what happens is that in college here in the States, there's a huge influx of like South Americans and other people. So I'm curious, so that obviously the pecking order, like you're not going to beat the Brazilian striker. That's just never, even if you're So what happened with you where you were striker and then defender?
Well, I basically was when I was at Burnley in my first club, I was kind of midfield player. I was a striker at school, and then I kind of went into midfield, winger, midfield, and then I was all right, but I didn't stand out. I was just kind of like there, and then we had a second team, a reserve team fixture. First team were playing away, and the reserves were playing at home, and the left back was injured in the warm-up.
Oh, wow.
I was due to play right wing, and the manager said, can you play left back? And I literally can only stand on my left foot. I can't kick the ball with it. It was like, I can't tell him that at the time. I wasn't a good disclosure at the time. So I said, yeah, of course, I can play left back. I'll do a job for you. And I played left back, and I played really well. And then the following week, the right back had flu. And he said, can you play right back next week? And I said, yeah, of course. I'm a bit, I can do whatever you want me to.
Yeah.
And I went to right back with number 2 on my back, and I never moved from that moment.
Isn't that amazing? I mean, I just think those moments of someone's life where this chance thing happens, and all of a sudden you not only thrive in a team, but you have such an incredible career, like a legendary career in something that you hadn't done at all until somebody got sick.
I know.
or whatever. It's a
sliding doors
thought.
happens all the time. I'm sure, in life and and that's my life. In other people's lives, in an office or in a lawyer's office, whatever. There's something happens that you just go, oh, and I'm a big believer in, when opportunities come, you have to be ready, and if you're not, and you take life a bit too kind of blasé, and you kind of let those things pass you. I don't always think you get a second chance.
Hey, Annie F. Downs here from the That Sounds Fun Network. You know what I love about fall? It's the perfect mix of cozy comfort meals and cheering on football with friends. Go Dogs, sick 'em. Weeknights we can get busy and dinner time calls for something quick but really good. That's why I love Omaha Steaks, because whether it's a cozy dinner at home or burgers on the grill before the game, they've got me covered. Omaha Steaks delivers the world's best steak experience, from handcrafted steaks to comfort favorites. Their filet mignon is so tender, perfectly marbled, and better than most steaks you can get out at a restaurant. The best part, it's all in the freezer, ready whenever you need it. I've been eyeing those smash burgers and chicken wings, perfect for game day. This is heartland quality food, aged for maximum tenderness, hand cut by master butchers, and shipped right to your door. They've been doing this since 1917, 5 generations of uncompromising quality. And it's not just steaks. They've got juicy burgers, chicken, pork, seafood, even desserts. So get fired up for your fall grilling with Omaha Steaks. Visit omahasteaks.com and you're going to get 50% off site-wide during their Red Hot Sale event. And for an extra $35 off, you can use the promo code FUN at checkout. Like, that sounds fun. That's 50% off at omahasteaks.com and an extra $35 off with the promo code FUN, F-U-N, at checkout. See site for details.
Hey, Dave.
Yeah.
Let me say something real quick.
Okay.
And then you can go back to your song. Featuring thousands of study notes drawn from the best-selling NIV Application Commentary series, the NIV Application Bible helps you understand Scripture and apply it to your modern life. Okay, go ahead and sing.
Well, I was just about to write this lyric. The NIV Application Bible pairs a deeper understanding of the ancient biblical text with contemporary application of the lessons found within it, offering you a new way to understand what the Word of God means for your life today.
Okay, let me ask you a question, Dave. What will I find inside the NIV Application Bible?
John, how about original meaning notes to help you understand the meaning of each passage in its context, application notes to help you integrate teachings of the Bible into your daily life, and questions for growth in each chapter of the Bible that encourage reflection on how to apply Scripture to life.
Love it. Save an additional 10% on any NIV Application Bible and NIV Application Commentary resource by visiting faithgateway.com/NIVAB and using promo code Dadville.
That's faithgateway.com/NIVAB and promo code Dadville for an extra 10% off. So something before we launch into your Arsenal career, which I have a slate of about a 6-hour interview, so buckle up, it's gonna be great. This is something as listeners are listening who may or may not follow the EPL or Arsenal, which we'll pray for all of their souls because of that. But can you just sort of walk us through, because I think this is a really important thing to say, especially at the beginning here, is, for people who know about clubs there and go, oh yeah, I know Man U, I know Arsenal, I know whatever. Can you kind of walk us through why the cult, like why people love their club so much? Because, in America, obviously we're younger. Most of the sports are younger. I know we've got some baseball teams that may compete with the English football teams. But as a culture, like the closest thing we probably get is like college football, like American football, where people grow up in that area, they're affixed to it. But you go to England and really across the country, but for our case today, England. And I mean, and I live here and I'm a passionate Arsenal supporter. I'm not even from London. I'm not even, yeah. You, trust me, you don't want to see the tattoos. But can you kind of walk us through why the clubs mean so much, like why football is such a passionate fan base?
I think, we've been doing it a long time. We've been supporting our teams for a long time. I think there's definitely a geography thing going on in England. There's so many clubs in such a small country, based on how big America is and how stretched out the NFL is, and you look at all the teams. Yeah, we've got. I know you get rivalry in other sports, but certainly in football in England, you literally you can be 100, 200 yards away from Tottenham's 5-6 miles, whatever it is. But some of the clubs are very close, and obviously London's got a lot of teams. So the rivalry between the teams is fever pitch, and also because we have away, because you're only travelling a small, you get away fans at games. You know, in the big games in the NFL, you go in one side of the country to the other. Then it's a bit more difficult to create a rivalry in the state.
Yeah, right.
But I think mix all that together. I think it's just in our DNA to be say our DNA. There's some people don't like football over here, but you know, they're not friends of mine. But it is in our blood, and you know, now we've got the added advantage, which I do believe is an added advantage of the way that the women's game has been enhanced and grown over the last 10 years or so. We've got all the girls going to games, and we've got a mixture of families going to games more. You know, the kind of the Saturday afternoon has changed from the blokes just going off for
right.
Yeah, and leaving all the girls behind. It's an actually, you know, it's a beautiful thing that we can actually share all this passion together.
Yeah, it's really crazy. I think anyone that's been to London knows this, but it's hard as an American to take on. Like I've been to I think 3 games there in London now, but we tried to go to Fulham because we had a day where me and my buddy were there, and I was like, hey, let's just go to another game. It'd be fun. And so being in London, I was like, let's get over there. So, you know, we weren't able to get in, which was so frustrating, but I get it.
You didn't know me then, though, did you?
I didn't know I was like, listen, I've talked to Lee Dixon. And they're like, well, that doesn't mean anything to us. But what's crazy is, you know, you're walking in this neighborhood, just, you know, like any English neighborhood, and then you turn a corner and there's the stadium.
Yeah.
And so I think what is fun for an American to understand is it would literally be like your college football team that you grew up, your dad went, your grandfather went, your parents met there, whatever, would literally be 2 blocks away in your neighborhood.
Yeah.
You know, it's not a pilgrimage. It's not we got to get on the, you know, and some people do this, obviously, get on the train and go see their teams, and especially, you know, with Arsenal building the Emirates and Tottenham building their their stadium. You know, it's like, you know, it's a little more of you have to go to them now. But, you know, a lot of these clubs, I mean, they're just sitting in the middle of a neighborhood. And so you have this huge tie to them, you know, because this is physically where you're from, you know.
It gets a bit annoying when somebody's parked their car on your driveway because there's like 200 yards away from the stadium. It's like, who's that car? It'll be gone in about 3 hours. It's okay. It's because I grew up in Manchester, so I was a City fan.
Oh, wow.
And so I used to go to Main Road, the old stadium there, right in the middle of kind of Moss Side, and the streets were very narrow. And my grandma used to have a house just down the road, and she used to basically get all these cones from the police, and they used to
put them out.
The police used to give them the cones to put all out. So all the friends of the family used to park the cars outside, and then as payment, all the police used to come in and have bacon sandwiches and cups of tea. Went to the family's house, and there was police everywhere, all, you know, high-fiving, and then this
what a crazy scene.
Private car park outside the house.
But it just shows, again, it's just like so much of that experience, I think, is imbued into the English culture. You know, it's like that is such a normal thing, and you feel it again in some college towns in America. But to think that, like you said, however many clubs are in London at any point, you know, with relegation or not in the EPL, it's like 9 to 10 is every year, something like that.
So it would basically be like taking 10 NFL teams and putting them in New York City.
That's perfectly said, John. That is, yeah. And so every neighborhood, so you'd have like the Bronx Bombers, and then like, you know, the Lower East Side, whatever.
Queens United, or, you know.
That's exactly right. That's that's a really good analogy, John.
Yeah.
So, okay. So first of many nerdy questions, Lee, and then I'm going to try to intersperse these with things that maybe non-Arsenal fans would care about, but I'm going to be honest with you, I don't care. One of the things that I'm really curious about, and maybe the way I can relate this to people listening is like, imagine this happening in your job, but you know, you're playing at Arsenal, George Graham is there, and then Wenger comes in, right? And I think, you know, for people who don't know this, you know, two different managers. You have an English manager who's kind of defense heavy, and he's, you know, it's a different kind of playing.
Yeah.
In comes this French guy, and he'd been at a Japanese club right before.
Yeah.
So, not very well known.
Yeah.
But what I think is, so one, it's just interesting to have a new manager, period, right? Just someone that brings in a different culture, whatever. But, he's so known for having brought in like drastic changes to the way that you think about it. What was that like? Because wasn't it food? I mean, the way that y'all trained, it was like kind of a wholesale change, wasn't it? In the way that y'all approached practicing in the game and everything.
Yeah, I mean, nobody knew him. We just knew he had this amazing name that seemed to fit, Arsenal Football Club. Like, that's a bit weird. He's nearly called Arsenal. We used to call him Nearly Arsenal when he first came. This guy turns up on the first day with basically looking like your geography teacher. He had little spectacles. He had patches on his jacket. Quite not particularly athletic type. He was quite skinny and tall, but he wasn't. No, he wasn't he didn't look like a football manager.
Right.
So we kind of went, and then I'm sure it's the same in the States. The sense of humour, the locker room, banter, all that stuff. Yeah. So this bloke turns up, and we all looked at each other, and we went, "Give it one of them." Who's this guy?
Who's this guy?
And from literally the first time he opened his mouth to go, to start speaking, it was kind of, wow, this guy's different. You put your finger on it to begin with. It was just the way he spoke. He's very quietly spoken, but very kind of meticulous in his words and how he phrased them. And this is what we're going to do. And we were all going, right, okay. And then from day one, he changed the diet, the stretching. We used to basically. I mean, under George, bless him, we were quite a rowdy bunch to deal with, and he ruled by basically a carrot and a stick. It was like, this is what I'm going to give you, and this is what you're going to get if you don't get what you're told. So play like this, do that, you get whacked by a stick. Not literally, obviously.
Yeah.
Although sometimes, maybe.
I was going to say maybe sometimes.
Maybe should have been.
So it was completely different. He was more cerebral. He was like, wants to talk to you, wants to understand what you're thinking. And one thing that surprises people when I tell them about Wenger is that I was with him I was 32 when he came.
Oh wow!
So I was thinking, God, I could be getting hoisted out here. This could be 1 year and out. Yeah. So I've got to really listen to him and take on board everything he says. And our back four at the time was basically 30 upwards to 33.
Oh wow!
So all four of us and the goalkeeper, David Seaman, were all past the age where Wenger was going. Because I spoke to him after a few years, and he said, to be honest with you, I was going to give you an opportunity, but in my back of my mind, I needed to get a whole back four, and we ended up playing for him for 6 years. That's amazing. I was 38 when I retired.
That's so. By the way, that is old. Like, that's remarkable that you played that long. You know what I mean? Because usually it's like 33, 34,
yeah. What's
35.
the average retirement? Is like 33. Is the average retirement age?
Yeah, I mean, the average play, it's like the NFL, when you find out what the average playing career is, it's about that big, isn't it? And you think, I've been watching him play for ages. He said, but there's another 80 of them who've retired. So we did 6 years, and Wenger said to me, I was surprised how good of footballers you were, because I knew you as a unit, the four. I knew how good you were as a defence, but I didn't realise that you would be able to take on the freedom that I was going to give you to play, that you had that ability to play. And I was like, that's a good point, because my strength was my brain, my athleticism, my energy, my desire to win, my understanding of tactics, all of that. But I wasn't the most gifted, skillful, technical player. I was a fullback. I just used to kick people and then pick them up. That was kind of that was what I did. But I picked them up with a smile, and off you go.
Off you go.
Yeah. So do you see that as being like like he was the beginning of sort of like what now is standard as like
Absolutely.
diet is everything.
Yeah, if you speak to the Man Uniteds, the Gary Nevilles, and the players that were at United, who are our biggest rival at the time, they kind of, after when we won the double in '98, they always they'd go to England games and they'd all talk to the Arsenal players, going, "What are you doing? What's happening with you look a different bunch of players."
Wow.
And it was the nutrition, the stretching. His first few kind of months, he started to test us, Wenger, because we go to a hotel for a game on a Saturday. We'd be in a hotel, which we would be under George as well towards the end. It started to become a thing. You would take you out of your home, put you in a hotel the night before. But we'd go into the hotel, and then the next morning, first thing in the morning, we'd get a call at sort of 8:30, right, down in the room for a stretch. And we were like, we're not playing till 3 o'clock. Why are we stretching at 9 o'clock in the morning? And you go, yeah, you need to do. So we'd go down for stretching, and then we'd go back to our rooms, we'd come down to eat, then we'd go to the ground, we'd stretch at the ground. And we'd do about 3 or 4 stretching sessions before we even got out on the pitch.
Wow.
And it was too much. We were like, this is too much. So Tony Adams was our leader, and he was like, right, Tony, push him in. You go and sort that out. We're not doing all this stretching. It's ridiculous. So Wenger was clever, because he basically, what he did was, no, we have to do this. This is how we do it. And then we complained again. And then he dropped the 8:30 Saturday morning stretch. So he gave us something back. So we were like, oh, yeah, we're in control. Come on. We know what we're doing. And really, when you speak to him again, he's like, I was always going to drop that one anyway. It was just a matter of how long would you do it before we complained.
For context, like how much stretching were you doing before that? Like what was a normal like warm up for y'all before that?
We would, on match day, we'd probably go for a little walk about 11 o'clock. And then we'd go for pre-match meal, which would be 11:30. And then you go to the stadium an hour and a half. You get to the stadium an hour and a half before. You'd be in the dressing room then reading the programme, sorting your tickets out for your family. And you kind of start to think about loosening up about an hour before. And then,
oh, wow, that's it.
Then pretty much your own whatever you want to do. And the only time you do something that the coach wanted you to do was, 15 minutes before kickoff. So
jeez, that's crazy.
It was quite loose, to say.
So I've never understood it. Is the walkabout, because I'll see posts, Arsenal post about the guys like doing their little kind of walk out of the hotel. Is that just a tradition? Is there any point for that?
It's change of venue. You're not in your room. You're not in a meeting room. You're out in the fresh. I'll never forget. When we won the league at Old Trafford. Oh yeah. In 2002, we won the league, and we played them on a Tuesday night, and the last game of the season was we had the cup final to come and the end of the season. And if we went to Old Trafford and won, we would win the league that night. So we'd go to the hotel, and then about, 12 o'clock, he goes, we're going to go for a walk. And I'm from Manchester. And he goes, we're going to go for a walk. And I went. So I said, boss, I'm not sure that's a great idea, And he goes, why? I said, we're just about to go to Old Trafford, and if we beat them, half of Manchester right now is on edge. And you're going to take us for a walk around the Lowry Hotel over the canals and round the little streets. He goes, oh, it'd be fine, don't worry. So I went, okay, I've told you. Anyway, we met a window cleaner guy who was cleaning a window, and he saw we were all in tracksuits, and we were walking down the street, and he was like cleaning this window, and I clocked him for a while, and he kind of looked like that, and he went, and he threw his thing in the bucket. And he's obviously a United fan. I said, it's 50-50. It could be a City fan.
Yeah, it could be a City.
Yeah.
But I can tell by his face. And Wenger's like right at the front, and he's walking along like proud as punch, big cannon on his chest. waving around, and I've just gone, and I've gone to the lads and gone, watch this, and this lad's kind of squared up to him in the middle of this a broad Manchester accent, and he swears at him. He goes, "What the effing hell are you doing in Manchester?" And he's like that, and I'm gone. And Wenger didn't know what to do. Absolutely froze. He was.
I thought he was going to immediately start stretching or something like that. He's like, "You give me an hour and a half, bro, and I will take you down."
Oh, it was just brilliant. But he was
like, go on. How long are those? I mean, is it like a little 30-minute just kind of walk about?
It's like 15, 20 minutes.
That's always been so fascinating.
Back in the hotel, and they tend to stay around the hotel now because after his excursion into deepest Moss Side.
He was like, "Okay, let's get back." As that guy's throwing his window juice at you. So here's another thing I want to ask. While you're playing, and this is always something I love to ask athletes, like, how are you? I mean, it's nothing like it is now with social media, but how did you deal with the criticism? I mean, the window cleaners, so to speak, of the rest of your life. These guys who and women or whoever, kids, that are writing about your game, or how did you handle that?
Don't read it.
Yeah.
Because you switch the TV on, or you pick a newspaper up when I was playing, and phones were just kind of coming in. And I retired 2002, so you'd walk past the newsstand and you'd see, George Graham, bless him, always used to say, "I don't mind you being on the back of the paper, just stay off the front of the
front." That's so good. Mm-hmm. That's so good.
And we failed on several occasions.
Yeah.
So you could, if you had a good game, you read it. If you didn't have a good game, you don't read it. But now, I mean, it would drive me crazy if I was playing now. I don't think I could. I mean, I'd have a different attitude because I would have grown up with social media. But if you took the old me and put me in now, I mean, I just don't know how why they integrate with, or have these back and forwards with fans on social media. It's like, no, stop. Because I obviously came off Twitter because I was commentating, and I've fortunately got the top job commentating for England. So here, you are on a pedestal, and you're just like that, just queuing up to knock you out the bubble park. It's like, what's he said? Did he get a word wrong then? He's like, I did. I made a mistake. I'm sorry. And they're like, you get rubbish. Get off.
Yeah. That is so. And with your kids, like, how old were your kids when you retired?
When I retired, that's a good question. I was 2002, so Olivia was. I can't work it out. But she was 12.
Okay.
And my son was 14 when I retired. So
okay, so that is a sweet. So how did they deal with that? Like, would they go to school and have to deal with people that were? I mean, y'all were, thankfully Arsène was doing great. So I mean,
but the thing is, they're doing great, but they're not unlike me and you. They're not everybody's. As John will contest, they're not. They're not everybody's favourite. Look at his face. I mean.
The disgust.
Look at my shirt and the lack of Arsène.
Yeah, so I mean, they used to get stuff said to them at school and stuff, but they kind of they grew up with it. So I tried to be I'm quite a private person outside of football. I did. We had a team bonding night out every now and again, but my friends were outside of football mostly.
Yeah.
David Seaman's my big mate. He's my best mate, always has been. And so and Tony Adams and Ian Wright are kind of like the four, and their wives go out still, sort of hanging out. And but when I was playing, I kind of.
So even now, y'all spend time together.
Yeah. All the girls are friends, and the kids have grown up sort of knowing each other, and they've all gone off to do their own thing, and it's nice for them to have flown the nest. But every Christmas we try to go to one place, and to try and get the kids to come back. It never happens when we all get together, but the 4 girls and 4 lads make it with whatever kids we can drag with us.
So I'm so curious, what was it like? They'd come to the games and kind of be around, and that just must have been the water that they swam in as kids. It's just, Dad plays and they go to the game.
The thing is, you get spoiled with it. I'll never forget my son I said to him, do you want to go to the game? I can't remember what game it was, but he was about probably 12 or something. And I said, do you want to go to the game on Saturday, and go in the box or get some tickets? And he looked at me and he went, is it a cup final?
Oh my God.
And I went, no, it's just a league game. And he went, no, I'll give it a miss, thanks. I'd reduced him to only going to cup final.
Yeah, he's like, let me know when you're going to win something. I'll be there.
Hey, you're doing well in your career when your son's like,
yeah, no, that's exactly
the cup final. Maybe I'll come in.
Yeah, but he played until he was about 10 for his local, football team. And then it was a Sunday morning, I'll never forget it. He was playing at 1:00 and he had his kit on ready to go. And he said, Dad, I need to speak to you. And I said, what's the matter? And he goes, I don't want to play today. And I said,
wow.
Oh, right. What, are you injured or what's going on? He said, no, I just don't enjoy it anymore. And I said,
wow.
And he goes, to be honest with you, I've never really enjoyed it. I only played because you want me to. And, and I said, okay. And I was like, as the dad who want the best for your son, but also secretly want him to go and be a footballer because of the life I had. And I was like, okay. And I said, why? And he said, just, everyone looks at me. The manager made him play number 2 fullback and he didn't like it. And he had a number 2 and he had blonde hair. We both had we looked alike, and he said everyone just goes, oh, there's Lee Dixon's son and he's not very good, and da-da-da. He wasn't particularly great at football. So I said to him, all right, I said, you've got to do one thing. You've got to play today because it's the day of the game. And then after the game, you speak to your manager and you explain it to him. And then you give yourself a period of time to speak to him about, if you're missing it, then you can change your mind.
Yeah.
And if you don't, that's fine. But I insisted on him trying out other sports and trying to be athletic and mobile and just to keep exercising. So he said, he started playing rugby at school and he started doing other things. And the irony of it was that, so he didn't play from 10 onwards, and he went to university at 18 and he started playing for his university team. And one day, he turned 18 and I took him to the pub because that's English tradition. You take your 18-year-old son to the pub for his first pint. He's probably had about 1,000 before. I took him to
Dad, this tastes pretty good.
Watch him pretend how to do it.
Yeah.
I said, right, well, I'll have our first pint. And on that night, he said to me, do you know what, Dad, I need to tell you something else. And I was like, oh my God, what's this? And he said, I wish you'd have made me play.
Oh,
I wish you'd have forced me to play because he was right on the edge. And I didn't want to be the pushy dad. So I went, as long as you play sport. And he goes, I would have loved you to push me because I think I probably would have carried on playing. I was sitting in the pub. I was like, it was like,
oh. He's like, geez, Dad, you're drinking that beer fast. You're like, another round for us, please.
Yeah. But my daughter, if my daughter was a kid now, she would have had a chance because she was brilliant. But there was no girls' football back then.
Yeah.
You had to play with the boys, and there just wasn't the facilities or the access. But she was really good. She was hard as nails. She used to kick lumps out of everyone. She was skillful. She was fast, and she plays netball now. She's 35 now, and she plays netball. And she's like a demon. She's an absolute lunatic.
Finished training for the day? Time to fight post-workout fatigue with Core Power Protein Shakes. They're packed with 26 grams of high-quality protein to build muscle and electrolytes to help hydrate. The nutrition you need to help your body replenish, rebuild, and repair post-workout so you can power on to the next one. Champion your recovery with Core Power. Visit corepower.com to learn more.
Does it ever feel like you're a marketing professional just speaking into the void? But with LinkedIn ads, you can know you're reaching the right decision makers, a network of 130 million of them, in fact. You can even target buyers by job title, industry, company, seniority, skills, and did I say job title? See how you can avoid the void and reach the right buyers with LinkedIn ads. Spend $250 on your first campaign and get a free $250 credit for the next one. Get started at linkedin.com/campaign. Terms and conditions apply.
That's got to be such a struggle. I can't imagine being, and I mean, John and I being musicians.
Yeah.
You juggle that thing where you're like, gosh, it'd be fun if they wanted to, but I think like you, Lee, it's like the last thing, I would be terrified that they would get to 18 and say the opposite.
Yeah.
Where they're like, listen, I'm tired of doing this. Like, I don't ever want to see another guitar, piano, soccer ball in my life.
Yeah.
So I think as hard as that,
you never know. Like maybe
you never know.
If you push, you squash it. Maybe if you back off, they come back to it. You just never know.
But the thing is, with my dad played for Man City. He was a pro for 3 years in the 50s. He was a goalkeeper. He played under a great goalkeeper who's quite famous in England called Bert Troutman, who played for City. He broke his neck in the cup final, the FA Cup final. He actually broke his neck and carried on playing. It was an incredible. You look him up, Bert Troutman. He was a German. He was a German prisoner of war in England, and after the war, he stayed. And then he turned into a pro footballer, and he played for Man City. And my dad was his understudy. This guy was my dad's hero. And I already had a joke with my dad, and my dad never played it in the first team because Bert was so good.
Yeah,
and also he never got injured. And then one day...
Other than breaking his neck.
Yeah, and I said to my dad, do you know what? It's just come to me. I said, you must have been really footballer. And he went, why is that? I said, Bert Troutman broke his neck and he still didn't get a game.
They kept him in.
That is unbelievable.
If he breaks one more bone, I'll take him out.
More. Yeah.
So he bent his thumb back in a League Cup game or something, and my dad got picked to play on the Wednesday in the replay, and he said, "This is it. This is my chance." And so he got on the coach to travel, and he was playing Luton Town away in the Cup, and they drove down to London, and he was on the coach going down. It's so excited, and the fog came down, and the game was cancelled. And he was like, no, we're turning around, we're going back. And he was going, no, but. And then Bert's thumb was all right at the weekend, and that was it.
Oh, my gosh. So
Bert's like, the fog is actually healing my thumb.
It's weird. And my neck feels great. It's never been more flexible. How did you know when it was time to retire? Like, what did that look like?
Wow. That's, I just had a big rush of emotion right then. That was I'd already planned it. My last season in 2002. I was 38. Tony Adams was retiring the same season.
Oh wow!
His back was bad. His knee was bad. I was hanging on. Lauren had taken over my place, so I only played like a third of the games in that last season. My contract was up. And I'd made the decision at the start of the season, I'm not going to get a new contract. I'm 38. Let's knock it on the head. And obviously we won the double that year. So it was an amazing,
what a way to go.
Amazing way to go.
Yeah.
But I never forget, I knew I couldn't play any longer. My knee was absolutely wrecked. And I couldn't really train because the adrenaline's not there in training. As soon as the game goes on a Saturday, I didn't feel my leg at all, my knee at all. But during the week, on a Monday in February, it's like you're trying to go out to get yourself going again. I was like, me and Tony used to run out with the lads to go training on a Monday morning. And we purposely sort of hang behind them. And then they'd be running out for the warm-up. And Wenger used to stand there and he used to look and he used to go, Tony, Lee, go back in and go in the swimming pool. And we used to go. And all the lads used to do the, horrible signals to us, and we'd just wave at them and go, see you later for lunch. Thanks. And but the the final day of the season was against Everton, and it was a home game. Tony was injured, so he didn't play. So his last game had been before. So it was my last ever football match.
Wow.
And I was, but I'd not had the conversation with Wenger. I hadn't had the face to face. We all knew I was retiring, but I hadn't actually had that conversation. So I thought, and it was a Friday morning. We were playing on the Saturday. So I knocked on his door and I went, "Boss, can I see you, please?" And he goes, "Yes, I need to speak to you anyway." So I said, "All right." So I go in the thing, and I said, "What do you need to speak to me for?" He goes, "I'd like to make you captain," because I was kind of vice captain. Tony's not fit. Can you be captain for the last game? And I was like, "Wow, that's amazing. Thank you. That I'd be very honoured." Yeah, brilliant. 619, full stop. But I thought I'd just ask the question. So I said, he goes, "What do you need to speak to me about?" And I said, "Well, do you think I'd have any value if I stayed for another year?"
Wow, what a question!
Could I add value to the dressing room? I wouldn't play unless you needed me. But ultimately, which is what I was doing anyway. But I said, I just, and he just went like this. He put his hand up and he went, and he sat back in his chair. And I was like, I was waiting. I was like, and he looked at me, bless him, and he just looked at me right in the eyes, and he goes, "Lee, it is time."
Wow! Wow!
It was like and I just went, "Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, I'll see you tomorrow."
Get out of here!
In that moment when he's about to say whatever he's about to say, do you remember? Like, I don't know if I'm putting myself in your shoes as much as ridiculous as that is for me to put myself in your shoes in that moment. Like, I don't know if you're hoping he says it's time or no, please stay on for one more year. I would imagine it would be so hard for you to make the decision. You know what I mean? I
knew what I wanted him to say, and I wanted him to say,
wow.
I wanted him to say, "Okay, stay one more year," because I was terrified. We played on. So the last game of the season was on the Sunday. I was terrified because this was Saturday morning. I was playing on the Sunday, and then Monday morning, I'm not a footballer anymore. I was desperately scared of that Monday morning. I was like, "What the flipping heck am I going to do Monday?" I was doing some TV work. It wasn't about what am I going to do. It was like, what am I going to do? Where do I put all this stuff here that I do that I know? I was a pro for 22 years. I'm not a pro on Monday and it's Saturday. I'm terrified.
How great would it have been if you ran into that lawyer on the street that you would run into right when you signed that first contract? And he's like, "Hey, I'm a lawyer still."
I'm a lawyer still. What are you doing?
I mean, listening to that story because I thought you'd knocked it off about 20 minutes ago.
Hey, I'm hanging on every word, Lee. Hanging on every word.
Lee, I have so much empathy for that. When I think of professional athletes, because I think it's so easy that we think of you guys as, these like superstars and they're legends and they have these, especially your career, which is just so amazing. But there's this unbelievable reality that's happening, which is you have identified in the world as this thing. I mean, yes, you're a son, you're a father, you're a husband, but like the world knows you as this really successful footballer. Yeah. And you said it so articulately. And this is what I think about so much is, Sunday you are, and then Monday you are not.
I know.
And I just can't imagine. And I think a lot of people are listening. I think that's something to really, it's a poignant thought, is like, what would it be like to do that? Where, and not only are you not that, but you're getting people, 38,000 people in Heidelberg are screaming. And it's such a source of joy and identity. And then, it's gone on the next day. And so what did that season after that look like for you? Like how long was it for you to land a plane on, like, okay, I'm sort of adjusting, I'm able to navigate it?
I'm still trying.
Yeah. Touche.
In all honesty,
wow.
I still have moments now where I go, "Wow, God, You know, to be fair, not as many as I used to, but there's times when I go to a game, especially when I'm pitch side. If I'm doing a pitch side interview and I see the players on the pitch, it scares the life out of me because they're so quick, they're so strong, they're so big, and all of that. But the real feeling under the feeling is just 5 minutes. Just let me get by. Just let me run on and run off. Just anything.
I'm
desperate to just get a bit back, you know. And I'm unfortunate because I get as close as you can really to, you know, what I do now is I love what I do now. I'm obsessed with the process of going to games and also because I do it in England, obviously with England, but I like to think I've got a really amazing relationship with American fans.
Yeah, absolutely.
I feel I'm honoured to be able to pass something because the English fans they kind of know stuff. I'm not saying the American fans.
No, you're right.
I'm not dumbing them down. What I'm saying is the nuances of the game.
Yeah.
That you can't possibly know unless you've grown up with it. So it's like I love American football. I love the NFL. I watch the NFL. I know the rules, not all of them, but I know the rules of the NFL. But I don't know the nuances of it. You know, there's certain you're watching a game, and whether you like it or not, you know stuff because it seeps into your being for all of your life. Even when you're not talking about it, people are talking about it, and you can. So I feel as if I've got this relationship with the American soccer fans, and I'm honoured to be able to share. Some of the stuff that went on for me and try and say it in a way that is not condescending, but it enables an understanding of what I was feeling at the time and what I'm feeling when I watch a game now. So I couldn't love that more than I do. And I've got the second best job, but it's the second best job. And
that's so well said.
Is that.
That's so well said. Yeah. Well, you know, too, Lee, I think what's so interesting about sports that I think is pretty unique to sports is that, you know, pretty much any other vocation you have as a man or a woman, you know, you can retire, but you can still kind of do it. You know what I mean? Like so many other you just decided, I don't want to do this anymore. Can I still be an architect? Yes. Can John and I still play our instruments? Yeah. And we'll probably hopefully be able to do that until we die. But sports are so humbling because at the level of pro sports, that kind of conditioning and then just physically what your body can do it's a limited amount of time that your body can do that before, you said, your knees hurt, your Achilles, whatever happens. And so I just have such a heart for what you guys do because I'm like, that has just got to be such an interesting thing to navigate is knowing, I mean, and maybe there's peace in knowing I just can't do it. Thankfully, this isn't even a conversation, you know, where some,
I don't play at all now. I mean, I had two knee replacements in the last 3 years. And so my passion has always been football, and very closely behind that is golf. I'm I'm addicted to golf. And so when the pain in my knees got so bad, I couldn't walk around the golf course. That was it. I was like, get me in. 2 new knees, and I've been reborn again because now I can play 36 holes a day, carry my bag, walk, do it.
Wow.
I've got zero interest in kicking a football.
Again.
Yeah. People go, do you still have a knockabout? And I was like, why? Why would I do that? Because nothing, I don't care what pass I hit or what position on the pitch I ever get on. I'll never, ever be able to get anywhere near what I used to be. It's just disappointment. These young kids dribbling the ball, doing stuff I couldn't do when I was playing. I was like, and they go, you can't do this. And I go, no, I can't. But, you know.
What is this should be the speed round, which we're about to jump into, but what is your favorite, like when you speak of that, I think this is so fascinating. When you were on the pitch, what was the most satisfying thing you did? Was it a great ball in? Was it a defensive move? Was it a header out of the ball? Was it like scoring? Or what was the thing that you were like, oh, that just every bit of
I'll tell you a quick story about that encapsulates me as a player. So when I signed for Arsenal, I said to I didn't want to go because I was petrified of. I was in the second division at Stoke, and I was like, "That's I'm done." I can't play. I can't play. I didn't think I could play up there.
Wow.
Arsenal come in and go, "Come and play for us." And I said to my dad, signed, and I said to my dad, "What am I going to do now? Because I'm going to get found out. I am going to get found out." I didn't have that. Yeah, I'm going to show everybody because I'm this and I'm that. I was honestly thought I was going to get found out. So my dad said to me, bless him, he died 2 years ago, but he said some things to me over my lifetime that I never forgot. He said to me, just get one game under your belt and then you're an Arsenal player.
Wow.
I didn't make my debut until about 6 weeks after I signed because they were in a cup competition and and I was really for the next season. And I played one game and I was like, oh, God, I'm an Arsenal player now. And I said, the only thing is, Dad, I'm still going to get found out. What do I do now? He goes, 10. And I played 10 that season. And I go, so he kept setting me goals. And I was like, all right.
Wow.
I was from number 1, and this is a God's honest truth. You probably don't believe me, but from 1 until 619, I was waiting for this to go.
Wow.
You got to come off now because you've had a bit of a run. So that was my drive was to go. I'm going to get 20. Yeah. I'm going to get 30. Yeah. I'm going to get and set my goals. And then on the last day that I played with Tony Adams, it was the day before the game I talked to you about at the end of the season. The ball went over the top, and Tony was a bit out of position, and I kind of looked. And it ties in with your question. I kind of looked at him and I thought, he's struggling here. So I just went on the run to sweep up behind him, to cover him, which is what my job is. I was like, went up, took the ball in space, rolled it back to the goalkeeper, ran back to my position. And on the way back, Tony had recognised I'd got him out. And he goes, and he looked at me and he goes, do you know what? He said, you're one hell of a fullback. Do you know that?
Oh, man.
And it literally, I started crying on the pitch.
Oh.
And that was game 618. And I looked at him and I went, you could have said that 20 years ago, you absolute idiot. Well, I've been thinking I'm going to get a tap on the shoulder and you think I'm half decent.
That's unbelievable. What a moment.
Obviously, that probably made you sharp. It kept you sharp, kept you from relaxing. Do you feel like it kept you from enjoying it as much as you maybe could have?
No.
I don't even know if that's possible.
No, I think this is my understanding of playing elite sport is when people go, oh, you must have enjoyed that, and you and you go, this is me. I'm not speaking for anyone else. You do not enjoy the 90 minutes. The 90 minutes is not enjoyable.
Yeah.
Unless you're winning 5-0 at half time.
Yeah.
You've got to, you just, but most of the time, even when you're 2 up and you go to 3, they get 1. You kind of, and being obviously a defender, it's your responsibility to close the game out that end. So you are always on the edge of disaster, as in, one little slip, goal. So you don't enjoy you love the final whistle, and then the enjoyment starts, and you enjoy training.
Wow.
But when you're 2 days away if you're playing weekend, Wednesday, weekend, so you play on a Saturday, you have Sunday off or come in for a stretch, and you've got a game on a Wednesday, you are recovering physically, also mentally, and then half a day later, you've turned into prep mode for the game on the Wednesday. So you've forgotten them. That's gone. You're literally going, whatever. So you live in these little 4-day windows of life. And then and this ties in with your podcast name. You have got, in those 4 days, you've got you 2 kids, a wife and a mortgage and a dog to fit into that as well. And you've got to live life, do that. Carrying a bit of a knock, you're not sleeping great because had a bang on your head or whatever it is. So and it goes so quickly because you live in every 4 days. It's almost like a week, and you're just going like that and that.
Wow.
Before you know it, you've done 10 years, and you're like,
yeah.
"Wow, the kids have grown. When? How did that happen?" The kids have grown up. Mm-hmm. You miss. Now I'm lucky enough to have I had my kids quite young, so I've got a beautiful relationship. One's 35, who's had an amazing little boy called George, named after George Graham.
Oh, that's so great.
George Graham, Charlie George, and George Armstrong. So she's a bigger Arsenal fan than all of us. So I'm going to call him George. He's 3, and he is my life. He is literally.
So great.
I cannot love this person anymore, and he's everything that they talk about grandkids, and I was. You hear the thing people say, oh yeah, you get all the good stuff, and you do, but I try to. I was thinking, what does that mean? Get all good stuff, but it came to me one morning when I handed him back to his mum, and I go, yeah, this is what they say. I've had all the good stuff here. I'm going to go and play golf now. He's crying, but it's not. It's you have all the good bits and some of the bad bits, but it's this weight on your shoulders that's
so
been removed because it's not your responsibility. So you get a kid with no responsibility. It's amazing. It's absolutely amazing.
That's so great.
Because all I was thinking about with my kids when they were growing up was, could I think about them enough and also think about Ryan Giggs and how he cuts. I'm mixing them up with players. I'm going, I really need to rest now. I know you want to go to the park, but I've got Giggsy on Saturday, and he's, I'll see you later. Yeah. And I miss chunks of growing up that I don't remember some of the stuff. Oh, do you remember when we went there? And I go, so that's the price you pay.
But the tribute to you doing such a good job is that you have. I mean, John and I talk about this so much, but all we want. Oh, that's not true. One of the biggest things we want is that we just are always in relationship with our kids, no matter the ages. And I think it's such a tribute to parents who have great relationships with their adult kids, because I just think that really shows that you've done something right, And so I think that's such a tribute for you to be able to say that,
Yeah, my son hit the nail on the head with it all. Not that long ago, he goes. Very philosophically kind of looking up, and he goes, you know what, you're one lucky person, you know that, don't you? And I said, why? And I'm thinking he was going to say, you were a pro footballer and you won all this stuff. And I said, why do you say that? He goes, I've never been arrested. He said, I've never got done for drink driving. I never got done for this. And I said, you're so lucky. And I was like, and I looked at him and I went, maybe it wasn't luck. I don't know. I'm just throwing it out. He hasn't. He hasn't got.
You're like, I was such a good parent. Okay, Lee, you have been a legend. So we have our speed round here, and I'm just warning you, it is Arsenal packed. So buckle up. I'll start us. What is your favorite Arsenal memory?
Anfield '89.
Oh my gosh!
Winning the league. Last minute, last kick of the game.
Unbelievable.
Doesn't get any better than that. What year were you born?
So I was 78.
Right.
82.
But I didn't start. So my first Arsenal game that I went to, which is what started my fandom, was in 2009. And so I was late because we went over to London with friends, and I liked soccer. So I was like, I want to go see a game. And it could have been y'all or Chelsea, which is hysterical to think of now because the guy that I knew had tickets to either. And I was like, let's go to Arsenal because I remembered Arshavin from the World Cup. And I was like, oh, he plays for Arsenal. So I missed I know now because I've gone back and sort of done the work, but I started my fandom later.
Right.
So I have to say this, and this is so you'll just a quick sidestep. One of my dear friends he's from London, a guy named John Green, a dear friend of mine, songwriter, legendary songwriter, incredible talent. But he's a huge Arsenal fan. Grew up, like his granddad had tickets, his dad has tickets. Rest in peace, his dad is gone now. But I texted John, I was like, listen, I'm going to get to talk to Lee. And it's so funny that you brought that up about that memory, because I said, do you have any questions you want to ask him? He said, it's not so much a question, but I am curious. He said, that game to me is one of the most important games because he talks about, I think he either couldn't get in or he got in at the last minute, but he was like, I was around it to see it, right? Yeah. He said, I just wonder how Lee feels about that being right before the beginning of the Premier League, right? So, and he said, I just wonder sometimes because he said, for me, that was such a turning point for our club. Like that moment, we go there, we win at Anfield, it's the last kick of the ball, it's this huge moment. He's like, I think when you think of Aguero and kind of the first Premier League moment where he wins, and yeah, I know. But he's like, I think that moment gets more it's more of a mythological moment than what we did at Anfield because the Premier League started whatever that was 2 years later. Yeah. And he's like, I just wonder if Lee feels that too, that some of that memory, which was such a incredible memory, sort of gotten lost in the thing because of the Premier League starting.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, I have arguments. I was born a City fan, but I'm now an Arsenal fan. Yeah. But I have arguments with my City friends and family all the time, and they go, "Oh, Aguero there," and I go, "Don't even go anywhere near that because if you do your history and do your research, you will understand the difference between playing one of the world's greatest teams in Liverpool who are knocking people over for the whole of the 80s and 90s, and you were playing QPR who were just about to be relegated."
I love that you said that because that's what he's wondering.
There's no comparison. So, well, that's my favourite Arsenal.
That's amazing.
All right, question number 2. Go ahead.
It's not very quick this round.
I know that. This is what people know about our speed round. It's sort of a slow march round.
Hard air quotes around speed. Favorite current Premier League player?
Ooh. Favorite current Premier League player? I like that question. I'm going to go. He's injured at the moment, but Bukayo Saka.
Look at this. Just look at this.
There you go.
Dave is wearing
that guy. I don't know how you can love someone that you've never met and they don't know that you exist, but I do love him.
You know what? I went back to the training ground. They were trying to re-Arsenalise the training ground because Unai Emery came and took all the pictures down in the training ground.
Oh, I didn't know that.
And when Arteta came, he put them all back up. And they tried to get some of the older players to turn up for a cup of tea and have lunch and just hang around the place. And not my greatest thing I want to do. I think I like to stay out of.
Yeah.
But some of the players went, and I just went on a particular day, and I was standing pitch side with Edu and the chief exec, and we were watching training. And then they finished training, and all the players walked kind of about 30 yards away back to the training facility, and we were just chatting. And there was only 2 players came over and said hello to me. And I always, whenever I was at the training ground and I saw an older player, a retired player, ex-Arsenal, I did all my history. I read all the history books because I didn't know Arsenal from anywhere at the time from Stoke. So I made sure I knew their history and how great the club was. And it gets embedded into you that why we're called the Arsenal, and that's the only team that's got the in front of us.
Right.
We put the there, but it doesn't, that's beside the point.
Point is,
so, and there. I did only. Sorry.
The point is, it's there.
Yeah,
it's
that's right.
there. Yeah, absolutely. So I always made a point of going over and introducing him, saying, Sammy Nelson or whoever it was, Charlie George, whoever, go over and say hello because they're legends of the club.
Yeah.
But it's not like that anymore. The players are a little bit more transient. They haven't. Some of them got make it their business to find out and connect to the history of the club. But there's only 2 players who came over to say hello that day. And one was Smith Rowe. He saw me, he was closest to me, and he came over and said, "Oh, nice to meet you." And I thought, and the other one was the legend that is Bukayo Saka, who is the nicest boy you would ever want to meet. And he's
I just want to give him a hug. That's all. Yeah, that's weird to say. Okay, so best player you've ever played with?
Dennis Bergkamp.
Oh my gosh, what a legend!
Look at that. Now we're on the speed.
It's touch and go because Thierry was pretty good.
Of course, yeah.
Dennis,
The fact that you can choose between those two is just an embarrassment of riches.
What about best player you played against?
Well, I always say there's two, and for different reasons. The one-off, a one-off player, I only played against him twice, but for complete unpredictability and skill on the ball, and he doesn't really know what he's doing with it, so I'm not sure how I'm supposed to work it out, was Rivaldo, who was at Barcelona.
Yep.
He was just an incredible talent and really difficult to work out on the day. But for longevity and the amount of times I played against him and really hard was Ryan Giggs.
Yeah, Giggs, yeah.
Yeah, I mentioned it. And the most difficult thing one of the most difficult things about playing against him was he never shouted for the ball. He never spoke on the pitch. So if I'm in my position and the play's over there and Ryan Giggs is on the wing, normally you can hear him shouting for the ball. So you in your senses you know where he's standing. So I'd always have to look where he was. And so I'd go, where are you? And then I'd see where he was. And then immediately as I looked back to where the ball was, he'd then make a run.
Yeah.
But normally they'd shout for it and you go, oh, he's making a run. And so you kind of drop off. But he never spoke. And
That's so crazy.
We worked together on TV in the World Cup and what have you. And I said to him, that was the hardest thing. And I always say he was my hardest opponent. And he always says that I was his hardest opponent.
Wow.
Which doesn't really make much sense, does it? Because but you just had to be on your game.
Yeah. That's amazing.
You were switched off for 1 minute, you were dead.
Yeah. Okay, two more. Here we go. If you could replay one game, which one would it be?
Oh, I'd actually, I know exactly which one. I would play the 1999 FA Cup semi-final against Man United at Aston Villa, where we lost with that Giggs goal. Remember the Giggs goal?
Yeah.
And because we were last minute with a penalty, Roy Keane had just been sent off. Dennis Bergkamp has a penalty to win the game. He misses the penalty. They go up the other end and score, and we lose. The hardest thing I ever did in football, bar none, was after that game, me and Tony Adams went into the United dressing room. They were all in there popping champagne, and we walked into the dressing room to wish them all the best in the final.
Oh, wow. Jeez.
And I went like this, all the best. The words were... I was trying to... Tony, we need to do this, because it was one of the most amazing games. It went to extra time. It was just... And for it to be won with a goal by him in that way, with a penalty being missed and Roy being sent off, it was just like, I'm never playing a game like that ever again, so we should mark it by going and wishing them all the best.
Yeah. Jeez, that's
like
classic.
your heart was more honorable than your body was willing to be. We have one more question, Dave. I can't ask it. You have to ask.
Okay. So we love asking this to everybody. If you wrote a book on being a father, what would it be called?
If I wrote a book about being a father, what would I... God, you've thrown that one right at me, haven't you?
Get your kid on. You're going in, Lee. You're going in. Stretch out.
I'm going in. What would I call it? Getting quite emotional because my dad passed away a couple of years ago, and he used to say this to me quite a lot, and it's a very short title. I'd just call it "I'm Here."
God, that's beautiful. I love that.
Because he always used to say to me when I rang him up, and he'd go, okay, and I'd say something to him about a problem, and he'd go like, "Oh, it's all right, I'm here," and I'd go, "Oh, right, okay, go now."
That's so great. What a sweet thing. Beautiful. God, that's so sweet. Lee, you are a legend. Thank you for your time. I know you've got big day tomorrow. It means a lot you made time to hang. I mean, this is literally a dream come true. It really is. This is such a fun
I've had fun, and I just, spending time with you has been amazing because of obviously your Arsenal loyalty, and than spending time with John and watching him cringe at everything that you even better.
I appreciate you both tolerating me during this conversation and letting me be in the room.
Right. And listen, this goes without saying that if you come to London, if you come over, you hook me up and you can have I've got 2 season tickets at the ground, so if you want to go to sit in my seats, you're more than welcome.
Oh my gosh!
I just TT'd my pants just a little bit. So it was a respectable amount.
So what are you going to give me?
Yeah. So what I can give you is, do you have any guitars that you need, or some blood, some of my hair?
I need a drum lesson.
Listen, I can give you. That's what I grew up doing. Lee, we will play as much Genesis or Phil Collins or John Bonham. I'll even honor all of your English drummers. We can do Keith Moon. You tell me what you want. I will do any of those gladly. Thank you, Lee. What a wonderful time. Thank you so much. You're the best. Good to see you.
See you. Bye.